Something may come out to do with the e-files. Mercury must deliver the news. So we'll be talking about some difficult news stories as well that may occur this week ahead. Top scientists in different kinds of energy like fusion, alternative energy research are disappearing. And I think also scientists from the UFO community and the UFO disclosure community are disappearing. Sun square Pluto can be the fall of a world leader. Information news about Aries people, places, and things. A well-known Aries folk.
Lunatic astrology.
This is the astrology for the week of the 20th of the month of April 2026 through to the 26th of the month. And boy, oh boy, what a week we have. It's got a very exciting and surprising, shocking, maybe, but hopefully positive, last in a lifetime conjunction between Venus and Uranus in the fixed sign Taurus. That's going to be a very important completion for all of the Tauruses out there, but also the fixed signs as well. Of course, if you're fixed, you're one of us, an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, etc., Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo. We'll feel this kind of shifting of a gear of 7 years of intense, unexpected Venusian things in our life. But I've covered that video in great detail on Sunday's drop, this last in a lifetime conjunction. So go watch that video. More importantly, what we're talking about this week ahead is the fact that Pluto and the Sun will come into a square, as well as the Mercury and Jupiter. Squares invite exciting change because it forces our hand to make a decision or take an action. In the collective sphere, Sun square Pluto can be the fall of a world leader, including the lack of a life, the unaliving, but also just some kind of very intense power struggle or difficult time for someone in a position of authority and power. As well, we might see that Mercury and Jupiter in a square, while it can bring opportunities that require us to make it move and go for it or not, carpe diem, it also can be about news. Mercury is the news cycle. So information and news coming that Jupiter wants to get into the world that may feel difficult to receive, because Jupiter is the god of justice. And when justice tries to get news and information out there, Mercury must deliver the news. So we'll be talking about some difficult news stories as well that may occur this week ahead. Welcome to my channel. This is my astrology for your week ahead. My name is Lori Lothian, and this is Western Tropical Zodiac Astrology. It is using the whole sign house system. And if you want to know how to use the whole sign house system, because you're going to need to think that way, all YouTube videos are doing whole sign houses to delineate general astrology. Just check my free video tutorial, how to cast your chart in whole sign houses. If you know your birth time, it's going to give you your rising sign. Also, guys, I am still doing my Divine Timing Masterclass promotion, 5 weeks with me live in classes on Saturdays, 2 Q&As a week, morning and night, to accommodate most time zones. If you want to come jump aboard, you can take all 5 classes or just pick whichever of the 5 modules you'd like to learn. This is for intermediate students or advanced beginners. If you don't know your basics yet, come to my Sky Reader this September. I teach it every fall. In the meantime, this is for those of you who are ready for ancient precision timing tools to help you time your best life. Now, all information about the promotion and getting into my class are down below. Now, let's just say this. It's been a funny morning because I've been really pondering the future. I've been looking at this Pluto square. Mars is happening around the 3rd week of May, and really trying to figure out what that's about, because we're still bleeding this week through the last week's Pluto sextile Mars. So in world astrology terms, that could mean like a temporary ceasefire of some sort that does actually work and sustain itself in any place of war. But then, because we have Pluto square Mars in the 3rd week of May, it's probably not going to sustain itself. Let me talk, however, this week about, more importantly, the vibration of the Pluto and the Sun square, because it's not just about those 2 planets. We seem to have asteroids involved that could give us the devil is in the details of the story. On the Sun is asteroid Urania, one of the 9 muses of Greek mythology. And I'll be showing you the chart shortly, but understand that she's the muse of astronomy, and she's about the things that are in the heavens, right? Spaceships and planets and telescopes that look at what's going on. I believe that 3I Atlas may be crossing near Mars sometime in early May. I think it's still coming forward, Mars, Jupiter, but something to do with astronomy. Sun, of course, is like the sun, and Pluto, some hidden information coming to light. All right. Now, one of the things that comes to mind too is scientists. Now, the reason I think of scientists is because Pluto in Aquarius can be scientists involved in energy research of any kind. And as some of you know, there are now 10 missing or disappeared scientists, and it's now starting to make mainstream news. It's been burbling in the background on podcast world for a couple of weeks at least, and now it's becoming known that top scientists in different kinds of energy like fusion, alternative energy research are disappearing. And if you don't know about that, and I think also scientists from the UFO community and the UFO disclosure community are disappearing. And Pluto is about the secrets, and Aquarius is about the cutting edge technologies and sciences. And of course, the sun is about things to do with the sun and also energy and also Urania, outer space. So I don't know what's going to happen this week, but we might see something important about these topics becoming headline. I do want to say that technically every time the sun and Pluto come together in a square, if you track it throughout history, squares and oppositions in particular, there'll be something about a world person, a world character, a famous person, or a world leader, sun. But this is a Taurus energy. So what are the leadership energies of Taurus? Well, one, Israel has its sun in Taurus, so it could be something to do with Israel's leadership. It could also be connected to Taurian people like Joe Biden, who has his moon in early Taurus. And I think that could be a story for him. And I might not remember correctly, but I think King Charles, who has sun in Scorpio, late Scorpio, just like Joe Biden, may also have a Taurus moon as well. So stories about King Charles, Joe Biden, the leadership of Israel. And if you can think of any other prominent Taurian leaders in the world, please let me know if they have a Taurus midheaven or a Taurus sun. Taurus midheaven, of course, is J.D. Vance and also Joe Biden. Also Donald Trump. So we could also say some very intense stories around Donald Trump midheaven, J.D. Vance midheaven in Taurus, not near 5 degrees of Taurus where the sun is sitting, but that doesn't really matter. It's just the Taurus energy is activated by the sun in Taurus at 5 degrees, squaring Pluto on April 25th, which is a Saturday. So look for that intensity building before Saturday. You could feel it coming through Thursday through to Sunday, and particularly look for information coming out Friday, when governments tend to drop information they don't want people to know. Now, Mercury, as I said, is getting in the mix, and you're going to start to feel him building up around Friday, okay? A story to do with information or news. And Jupiter exalted can be about justice and home and homeland. He's in the sign of, not only the sign of Cancer, but he's still with an orb of the sun of the United States of America. And so what Mercury might want to share with you is something to do with the Aries sky. So information, news about Aries people, places, and things. War. A well-known Aries folk, right? So Tulsi Gabbard, sun in Aries, Iran's sun in Aries. So there's disclosures, information to do with justice or fairness or truth. A key word for Jupiter is truth. Let me show you the sky. We're going to go ahead today, though, and talk about your sign and how to deal with this energy Thursday through Sunday of the Pluto square and the Mercury-Jupiter square. That said, if you really want to deep dive into the last in a lifetime Uranus conjunction to Venus due to Uranus in Taurus at 29 completion degrees anaretic, then that video has been dropped on Sunday. I suggest you watch it. I went deep for world events, surely, but also for your sign, including, I don't know, you go watch the video. Okay. All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. This is Wednesday, April 15th, and I'm recording. This week I've been recording my May videos, your 30 to 35 minute video for your sign for the month of May. So a lot of work goes into this channel. If you're on my Patreon community, you get all of that content, early access ad free at the lowest tier. Similarly, there's some early access extended material coming through from my members in my community here, but that tier is going to be a second tier, not the $3 one. I've just sort of been debuting it throughout all tiers right now. So join me as a member here. I have occasional live streams on my all members. I don't care if you're the lowest member, the second tier right now, on my members only community here. I don't do them on the regular, but I do them. It's not like I have a schedule. Okay. All right. So I can't commit to a schedule in my already too busy life, but I do drop live streams with you guys. All right. So let's get going and talk about the sky. I'm going to share it with you. One of the things I'm going to point out, I'm going to move back a couple of days so you can see that Uranus and Venus on Thursday. We're building into this conjunction, which has been covered. And there's Urania, the muse of the heavens and planets and outer space, sitting here with the sun getting ready to fuse. And we're already here on Wednesday. And otherwise, there's not much going on that I would talk about. But as the sky progresses forward, and then we hit Friday, you begin to see what I'm talking about earlier. First of all, by Friday, with the sun at 4 degrees and Pluto at 5, this kind of gives you a Thursday, Friday, Saturday into Sunday, maybe even a little earlier, Wednesday night. I don't know. Kind of who the heck and what is this about? Again, Taurus placements, as I said earlier. Israel's sun is here. Joe Biden's moon, I think maybe memory might serve me. It's also King Charles's moon, but also Taurus people, places, and things who are famous or leaderful. Pluto square can be everything from an unaliving situation all the way to some just information or secrets or things that have been hidden, revealed. Why would the sun reveal something that's hidden? Because the sun is a light and Pluto is something shrouded and cloaked. Pluto had a cloaking device. It kept him from being seen, just like a stealth cloaking device, as well as the underworld god where things are hidden from view in the nether realms of the underworld. So whatever that is going to be something worth noting. We'll have to pay attention and see which leader or which well-known famous person gets under this Plutonian square. And then finally, you'll notice, as I mentioned, there's Mercury at 14 degrees, almost 15 here on Friday, and he's getting ready to hit a very intense square to Jupiter. By the time we get to Sunday, that is exact. See? So Mercury news coming through Friday to Sunday. It can be probably a Friday drop if some government's trying to hide, especially in the United States. They tend to drop all the official news of what the administration is doing on a Friday, hoping nobody will notice. So it could be like a Friday night drop where, oh my God, what is this information about? And again, Tulsi Gabbard's Sun and Venus and Mars, I think, are up here in Aries. So she's somebody I still think is pending. Something big is happening with her. Well, you can't have 7 planets in Aries and not impact her sun in some profound way, and her Mars and her Venus, I believe. So all said and done, she's got 3 planets in Aries, and boy, she's going to feel this, right? So it's going to impact her. What is this? Is she disclosing something? Now, this is a whistleblower asteroid, Ascalaphus. That's why I mentioned, I hope I said whistleblowers in the beginning. I'm still concerned. And this is Persephone. What is Persephone? The goddess of the underworld. What happened? She was abducted and graped by Pluto. And basically, so it's a sexual female trauma story. And with Mercury being news and information, we could assume that something may come out to do with the E-files. Okay. That could also be a story that's really breaking through the sky this Thursday through Sunday. And, it might be about justice or truth after Melania Trump's strange press conference, which 9 out of 10 analysts think is to get ahead of a story, right? To get ahead of something that's going to drop. So we'll see what that drop might be. There's a lot of gossip going on about a former best friend of hers and her deportation and how she's going to spill the beans on everything and, stuff like that. So we might expect that to be one of the main stories breaking this week, especially moving past Thursday to Sunday. And this is Ascalaphus. It's like a whistleblower asteroid. Without getting into the whole story. And it's sitting on Donald Trump's Mars and on Donald Trump's ascendant right now this week ahead. And the reason I put the Ascalaphus energy into the narrative, I did have a reason for that, right? Is that I think that it could be highly activated, and really brought into our awareness because of the Chironic element here. What is Chiron doing in a perfect square this week ahead? Into the weekend to Ascalaphus. Chiron is where there's a wound of some kind that's going to be whistleblown. And because Aries is the sign of war, it can be involving conflict and war related matters. Or the son of Iran is here as well. Now, the darker side of Ascalaphus is he was killed by a spear. So there's a story of death by blunt force. to somebody who might have a leonine placement? Well, as I said, Donald Trump's ascendant, his body, and his Mars are here. So again, is he in harm's way this week ahead? We shall see. So that's some thoughts I have. There's a lot of other things I could say about harm's way and him, but there's a lot going on there. I had a dream last night. I've been having dreams prophetically for years, and usually about world events to do with plane crashes or, calamitous stories like that. But I've had 3 Trump dreams. One the night of the election, before I woke up in the morning, I dreamt he'd won. One about a week ago when he told me that there will that he'll be the last U.S. president. Don't even ask me what that means. And the third dream last night was he was telling me that he was under unaliving attempts. Now, he was actually showing me obituaries in like a New York Times or something. And he was not saying that's my obituary. He's saying that there's a code in all of these obituaries to take me out. A code in all of these obituaries that tells me they're trying to take me out. So if he gets taken out, he gave me warning, and why there won't be another U.S. president after him, I can't even fathom or imagine. I do think at some place, sometime, somewhere, I think it could have been Sylvia Brown or some other psychic said that Trump would be the last president or something like that. But whatever it is, I'm just giving you what I got. Let's go ahead and do your sign. Sorry, you don't hear the sirens here. I'm so glad I'm moving in June. Never move your house between a hospital and a fire hall. You will always be listening to the sirens, and my window's open because it's warm here. So yay, let's move on. For your sun, your moon, and your rising sign, I want you to listen thusly. Your sun sign is your deepest, truest, core, essential, true nature. It's your spirit that takes on a body. When you die, that is who you are. Before you were born, your sun is who you are. However, it also, listening for astrological reasons, can be assumed to cover matters of career and purpose. As well, you might consider that it is more activated before the age of 7 and after the age of 45. Sun sign becomes more alive in our lives. Your moon is your feelings and thinkings and your home and nest. And so think about listening for matters to do with how you think and feel about life, but where you live. And lastly, your ascendant is the avatar in the simulation or the video game, right? To pick a character to play, right? The game player is your sun. But this is why the sensitivity of the ascendant matters, and your birth time can be useful, because your game playing avatar simulation character has something it's here to do, a role, a script that's been written for it. And so listen for that as well. But over time, as you listen for sun, moon, and rising, you begin to affiliate usually more with one or the two, your rising or your sun. All right, here we go. I'm going to share again. So we're going to go through each separate sign, and we're going to start with Aries, and then we're going to roll through. And my Monday videos every week are the shortest of all of them, just because. And today's video I'll put a little extended members only section. I want to talk about something to you guys. So it'll be in the extended members only about the world events in the sky this week, and also not be demonetized and speak more freely. But this extended members section sometimes is deeper astrology. Sometimes it's just, where I can clarify some stuff without being demonetized. Okay. All right. So Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. So this week, Thursday through to Sunday, you're going to be under the spell of 2 main influences, Mercury and the sun in Aries, Mercury squaring Jupiter, and the sun squaring Pluto. If we go, first of all, with sun square Pluto energy, what you might be experiencing Thursday through to Sunday is a power struggle. But if it's about money and friends, money and career gains, and money and celebrity, money and influence, and money and your long range plans and dreams. Pluto is in your 11th house. He's trying to make you quite rich by 2044 when he leaves. But now you've got something going on in the house of values, in the house of earnings and pocketbook and resources. And this kind of square can look like a bit of tension. It's like there's something coming up for you where you're having to square off with a situation around wealth and around career gains, perhaps. Or with a friend, like money and a friendship. Never mix money and friends, right? Or money and a sibling one older. And then there's this like crisis moment of having to deal with the situation by taking an action, making a decision. Now, when we look at the idea that Mercury, who has some information, well, you are Mercury. You're living the mercurial story. You have something to say, or you have an idea that you wish to do something with. Okay. Something you wish to communicate, Mercury in your sign. But Mercury is also squaring Pluto. and Pluto. I mean, squaring Jupiter, and Jupiter is in the fourth house. So this can be about a conversation with a family member that you currently live with, or it could be a conversation regarding wealth and property connected to your family of origin, mom, in particular, dad, perhaps, or money from the family ancestral line, and a conversation about it. Now, Jupiter wants truth and wisdom, and he wants good things, including justice. There is a possibility, because Jupiter rules the house of courts, this could be a weird thing where you find out that you've got some information, commercial information about money that comes to you or should come to you from your family. But then it may be like a court ordered letter, or like, I'm not kidding you. You get the email or the real letter or the summons, but it wouldn't be a summons as much as anything. Jupiter's in good shape. Be like, oh, we just discovered that, great grandpa Joe died and left you his land and nobody let you know. And now it's 5 years later and we finally figured out where you live. Something like that. Weird ways legacy wealth can show up to you coming through Thursday through to Sunday. That's a real outlier, but you got to go with all possibilities, right? Jupiter is the ruler of that ninth house, which is why I brought it up for you. Jupiter also rules your 12th house. So there could be some kind of information or news around property connected to distant lands and shores, abundance and wealth that could come to you, whether it's a foreign land or another part of your country. Jupiter is going to bring something good, but there's urgency with the square. One must take action. One must follow through Thursday through to Sunday. You can't just be a laggard on this one. You got to do something with it. Okay. I do not mind it here because you are governed by your own Lord. Mars is in Aries watching over the situation. He's past the hard wall of Saturn, and now he's going to support Mercury to contract, negotiate, agree, communicate, deal make, ideate about some kind of financial opportunity, right? Connected to your fourth house, connected to foreign lands and long distance and legal court cases, connected to foreign places here, ruling the 9th and 12th. Oh, now we're going to do Taurus. But I forgot that I'm pinned to 0 Aries. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising this week ahead, right? The 20th to the 26th of the month. Pay attention to Thursday through Sunday, where 2 squares are building tension for you. First of all, Pluto and the sun come into a crisis moment. You're going to feel it pretty exact on the weekend. You'll be building it up Thursday onward. You have the sun in your own kingdom. You are the Taurus energy. I don't care what degree you are, but I guess sun, moon, and rising Taurus between 0 and 7 degrees can really feel this more intensely this week ahead. And the sun will square Pluto in your 10th house of career. It's really a come to Jesus moment, maybe, because you are solar. You are wanting to identify with your truest self, your spiritual energy, the calling and purpose for which you are born. You've got more of that concern going on. And Pluto is an authority figure or boss or power in the house of your career. And this can be a very big pivot for you around your commitment or lack thereof to a certain professional direction, whether it's your job that you have now or a job that you wish to have in the future. There's something really deep and profound happening in this part of the story for you. Now, because the sun rules your 4th house of family of origin, and because Pluto is sitting here in your 10th house of the father, and because the spear blunt force is sitting in the 4th house with the moon, Asclepius, there's a small possibility that a father figure may be coming into a critical turning point around their own vitality and life force. And that could be a parent, father, grandparent, maybe a father figure, could be even an uncle, great uncle, someone that you look up to like a father figure. And there's that like intensity in the sky here. So I'm just going to give you a warning Thursday through Sunday that this is a possible narrative. Now, with the sun in your house, right? With the sun shining on you, and focused on that Pluto thing, I want you to also pay attention to your authentic strength when faced with an ultimatum or adversarial situation in your professional work. All right. I think you might feel overwhelmed, maybe daunted, maybe like you have to kowtow, but don't. The sun in your sign is trying to activate your own earthy fixed fire. They're not really fire, but it's the sun, earthy fixed energy to push back if you need to against what is really a difficult placement for Pluto, sort of bearing down on you. So it could be something to do with your work. And I'm just saying, hang in there, but, use your own discernment and go deep into your spiritual essence to make choices around that. Also money connected to your career and reputation and crisis turning points. Okay. Thursday through to Sunday. With Mercury wanting to make this a kind of a, okay, first of all, let's talk about Jupiter. He's exalted in your third house, writing, communicating, teaching, learning, studying a new skill, using your hands, siblings in general, connections to your neighbors and neighborhood. So Jupiter is expanding this. Social media, online world is here, and he's blowing it up, and he's exalting it, and he's making it big and bright and bold and beautiful, and boom. Oh, Mercury's in the 12th house. Well, the 12th house is your solitude. It's where you like to be alone and do things in quietude. And it's also Mercury's in the house of hospitals, and Mercury's also in the house of you're not in a jail, I don't think, but you could go through some situations here where places of isolation and information are coming to the forefront Thursday through Sunday. Because siblings is a third house, or maybe something going on in the life of a sibling to do with hospitals. There may also be something going on, information and news in the 12th house, where you want to do backroom deals and negotiations to accomplish some kind of prosperous and lucky and abundant energy in your third house. You could be negotiating a new deal around a writing project. You could be working on behind the scenes, accomplishing a big pivotal turning point success around writing projects. And because you also have Mars backing you up, there's a lot of passion and drive to do things in solitude, away from the busy world and the eye of the world, that bring you joy in the areas of communicating and writing and learning. You might be studying something and you skill and teaching. So it could just show that you're really putting a lot of energy back there into the 12th house. And maybe communicating something important, because one thing about Mercury in your 12th house is he rules your income house, right? So there can be some money, earnings, income discussions going on, backroom deals and negotiations that look like golden opportunities for professional advancement and greater career gains. And so, in other words, someone's negotiating for you that you get more money, a better perk, a corner office. Jupiter rules your 11th. That's why that can translate to that as well. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. All right. So basically, Thursday through Sunday, the two squares are intense. The first one that you're going to feel is definitely the Sun-Pluto square. And because the sun is in your 12th house, it can have to do with a big light shining in your unconscious, your subconscious, the part of you that has addictions and self-undoing. The big spotlight is shining back there. But it's also the part of your chart that connects you to revenue from distant shores, foreign lands, digital income, borderless revenue, money from foreign people and places. And it's also a light that shines there, the sun. And it squares Pluto, the god of wealth, in the house of Dharma. Dharma, are you on purpose? Are you aligned? Or it could be money coming to you in pivotal turning point ways from international sources, but you have this intensity, maybe a bit of a power struggle about how you want it to play out. The sun is the ruler of your third house, so it definitely can apply to social media, writing and teaching projects, and kind of a pivotal turning point going on, or something going on with a sibling and foreign lands and difficulties in hospitals. Okay, those are all possible Thursday through to Sunday. Now, the other thing about the week is that Mercury has some news or information to dispense, or communications or deals to make in your house of great gains from your career, your 11th house. And he happens to be in a square to abundance, Jupiter, in the house of earnings. Now, there is a really strong possibility that this feels fortunate to you rather than difficult, because the house of good spirit brings a sense of gratitude and also windfalls and pennies from heaven. And Mercury's being guided by a dignified Mars, like decisions and actions around career gains and money. And in a square to Jupiter could be an opportunity that requires execution, negotiation, signing, deal making, ASAP, Thursday through to Sunday. Fortune favors the bold is my advice for you on that. And sign on some dotted line for sure. If there's an opportunity for more money, take your opportunity and go for it, And, with Jupiter always bringing you that exalted money opportunity Thursday through Sunday, he can transfer it to your career, particularly your 10th house, right? To extend your success in your profession and professional accomplishments as well. But it looks like you could get an opening, an offer, a contractual deal. Look for deals from networks, social networks, people of influence, and people in high places. This could be something as simple as getting invited to somebody's podcast, but it's going to really splash you out in the world in a nice way. Jupiter's in your house, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's a part of the story this Thursday through Sunday, but we'll leave him for a minute. If you want to talk about the sun shining brightly in your 11th house of great career gains, and also matters connected to sibling one older, and also matters connected to your long range goals and plans and dreams and friendship circles and networks, all the 11th house matters. That sun is shining a bright light there, but hitting a very challenging square to Pluto as the weekend advances forward. Start to feel it Thursday, closing out Sunday. What does it tell you to do? Well, it may be money related. Pluto's a money god in the 8th house of money. Inheritances, shared resources with a spouse, spousal separation agreement, money and taxes, tax rebates, money from, what do you call it? Like royalty income, Google AdSense, shared revenues, unearned income coming to you in a sort of peripheral way than your wages and salary. So that square can be something like you've got a light on your long range goals and dreams, and you kind of see more clearly what you want, but you're pitted against some monetary situation. And you might have to really look at that clearly, like the spotlight is on what you wish and dream your life to look like. And maybe the money situation is at odds with what you really want professionally and in your career gains itself. The sun is a ruler of your 2nd house and wants you to earn money, but it's in the house of your dreams, goals, and visions for your life. So how can you have all of it? The money and also the actualization of longer range goals and plans. And Pluto is also unearthing deeper secrets. He's digging up under the surface, secrets that may involve certain factors in your life. Could even be involving secrets involving your sibling one older. And on we go. Because Mercury is also around the same period, Thursday through Sunday, really beaming into a square to Jupiter, it could feel like that you're dealing with a career situation, a professional situation. And when Jupiter's in that square, exalted in your sign, you are bringing yourself opportunities to expand and to grow in many parts of your chart until the end of June. This is the end of a year of Jupiter exalted in your sign. And I know it sucked for you. I know I'm going to hear in the comments, but you have to look at your chart separate from a general astrology reading. But Jupiter is trying to protect you and bless you, bring you more money, prosperity, goodness, and greatness. That's what he's doing, guys. All right. So, you're not alone, right? Cancer rising is like Elon Musk is going through this. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of your 9th house and trines it. So ultimately, there's this desire to go into a deeper alignment with your values and your purpose and the meaning of your life, right? That's what Jupiter's trying to line up for you, okay? But in the meantime, he's squaring Mercury with Mars and Saturn. Mars, Saturn in your 10th house is you're very busy working. You're working really hard. You're passionate, driven, or overworked. Take your pick. Mercury has some news or information you're going to have to look at. It can look like an opening on opportunity or an offer professionally. At the same time, you have to weigh your cost-benefit analysis and see if you're able to lean into a yes that says, because this is in alignment with my purpose. And if it's not, you might want to skip a beat on that one and say no. Jupiter does also rule your house of work, service, job, duty, and drudgery, having the work schedule, in front of you. So pay attention to these things as well. And if you're in the book publishing industry, Jupiter is saying, like, I want you to publish a book, for example, and Mercury rules your house of writing. What's getting in the way of that? There's stuff here just to pay attention to. It still looks like it's good for you. It's an opportunity you need to qualify. You need to qualify the opportunity and say yes, but put your pegs in place of what you really want it to look like. All right. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, I like this a lot because it's trining you anyway, some of the sky this week. Let's talk first of all. Well, this is Donald Trump too. Sorry that you're one of him, but this is for rising sign Leo, sun sign Leo, moon sign Leo. On the bright light of the sun shining in your 10th house of career, Thursday through to Sunday, feeling the square action to Pluto. What is it that's got to give in terms of a power struggle with an open enemy or adversary? Pluto in the 7th house, or a spouse, or a situation with a legal contract or business partnership. Pluto in the 7th house, squaring the sun in your professional house and your reputation. Now, it's possible with the sun ruling you, right? Rules the sign of Leo. This is more intense than it is for any other sign. What's going on in your reputation, your visible social standing, and your career and profession that's got a spotlight on it, with a little shock and surprise with Uranus still up here on Saturday, squaring Pluto. Some force of power is opposing you. Okay. And it can be a spouse. It makes me wonder if Trump and Melania, she's going to announce a divorce. But what is this thing, right? What is this thing for you? You had to come to terms with it. The sun is your ruler. And you've got a power struggle with somebody else who is trying to be dominating, controlling, or is an open enemy or adversary to you and to your own career success in this chart. So you might have to go to battle for something in this situation. Trolls and customers and clients that are really like acting like demagogues. Well, yeah, that could happen this week ahead too. With Mercury in your 9th house, and it's flowing to you beautifully, but Mercury squares Jupiter. So there may be some situations regarding distance travel and opportunity, but at a cost, maybe a situation you have to assess. Do you want to say yes or no to that travel opportunity? Do you want to seal the deal? Mercury is the contract, the ticket, the legislating the plans, setting the dates, getting the airfare going. So there's like a pivotal moment Thursday through Sunday where you have to make decisions, Mars's decisions with Mercury, about long distance foreign land and distant shore travel. Also, if you're working in the publishing industry, book publishing industry, or this could be about higher educational opportunities, getting accepted at your favorite school, getting a book publishing deal. Again, critical turning point energy square, but requiring decisions, actions immediately to make sense of what you want to do with that opportunity. Also, information news from a sibling too older than you, Thursday through Sunday, to do with something good happening in their life. Gemini, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So perhaps this is telling me that what you're trying to accomplish this week ahead, as Thursday through Sunday gives you two critical turning point squares that demand decisions and actions, is the first thing is that the sun shines so brightly in your 9th house. And it squares Pluto in the 6th house, could bring you into a grinding, crunching feeling around obligations connected to job and work and connected to a sense of purpose and meaning in your life. There may be something that's going on to do with human resources, headhunting, advisors and advising you around work opportunity. And again, solar energy can be a father figure, but also someone above you in a work setting, and a power struggle as well. It can go both ways. It can be an opportunity, but it can be a struggle. The sun rules your house of hospitals, and Pluto is death, and sun is father figure in a house in Indian astrology of fathers. Therefore, a father figure and hospital wouldn't be out of this chart. Grandpa, great uncle Joe, father, eldering father, and hospitals being a part of the story of April 25th until Well, sorry, Thursday through to Sunday of this week ahead. The 25th is Saturday. And also, Mercury has some news to deliver from the house of death. Huh? Not so nice, right? But it can be inheritance money news. And Jupiter is the house of windfalls and pennies from heaven and feeling prosperous in a lucky way. And so, yeah, there may be that too. Information or news about some chunky money that could come to you. You might want to sign a deal as well, a contractual legal agreement regarding an opportunity to take possession of a chunk of money. With Venus in your 10th house, you could get a sign-on bonus. And here's a new job opportunity. We're going to give you a bonus to sign on. Or a performance review check, like, hey, you're amazing. We just want to cut you a check. So a chunk of that kind of professional money could show up as well, Thursday through to Sunday. And the square just means you have to sign on the dotted line and take some kind of urgent or decisive action to claim the prize, so to speak, right? To claim the prize. All right. And Virgo, your money you're sharing with your spouse, if you have a spouse, whether you're separating, divorced, or together, is where Mercury is. And he's Mr. Negotiation. So Mars is to divide the property or the money that you do have, or to use that money and purpose it towards something good. And if all of that said and done, just a few, this can look like a decision to put your heads together and your money together as a couple around the purchase of a property, or it could be an inheritance coming through your significant other's family line that's going to be shared by both of you and used to beautify the home, buy things for the home, or to consolidate homes, move together, or buy a home together. All right. Some of you Virgos will be going through that kind of story as well. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. The sky is filled with squares Thursday through Sunday. And don't forget to watch the Sunday drop, right? Which I would have talked about the shocking Uranus last in a lifetime conjunction on Thursday to Venus. So I'm not going to repeat that here. It feels to me like with the power struggle of Sun square Pluto, that this for you is going to have to deal with some kind of financial situation, right? The sun is with the banks, the loans, the mortgage, the lenders. And maybe because the sun is the ruler of your career gains house, and this is a house of taxes, and this is tax season, this could be a little bit of a push comes to shove issue regarding money and taxes and career. On the other hand, because Pluto in the 5th house is uncovering things to do with romantic love, and Sun is shining a light in the house of secrets, there can be some big uncoverings of secrets around love stories in your life. Now, it can be even infidelity uncovered as well. Or you may come into a pivotal turning point in the relationship to one of your children and things to do with money. If you're an entrepreneur, artist, or creative, you're trying to figure out how to work with those abilities to increase your wealth through unearned income and other methods, including money and making money. And the spotlight in your 8th house just might be you speaking accountancy guidance regarding creative, artistic, and entrepreneurial projects during this window of time, but you must act on it, right? You must take action on it. Oh, and your children can reveal secrets that were unknown to you. Mm-hmm. Well, Mercury, as we approach Thursday through Sunday, also gets into a square with this case with Jupiter. This is meant to give you career success, more visibility, more reward, more fame, more prosperity in your 10th house. This is going to finish up at the end of June. And Jupiter exalted will be squared by Mercury from the 7th house. Now, Jupiter brings opportunity, and Mercury square can be like a commercial opportunity, a contract to sign on the dotted line. For example, Mercury is your house of book publishing, so a book publishing contract, or an educational contract connected to your professional world. And Mercury also rules your house of distant lands and shores and digital income and foreign revenue connected to career. There's these opportunities coming through to sort of rake in the money, but you will find that Mercury is about your audience or the contractual business agreements that want to be made here. Okay, so this is loving up your success professionally. Look at that opportunity. I'm governed by Mars, who's got a lot of passion. As maybe a long time coming, like you do deserve this opportunity or this moment. Some of you may be getting ready to take a leap and make a major change in your career path, especially as we go Friday, Saturday, because you're going to have an opening or an offer, especially on Friday, Saturday, with the moon in your 11th house trining Mercury. It's kind of like, go for it. This is a time where you could really step up and take a quantum professional leap in terms of a new level of success. All right, so keep me posted, Libras. How does that fly for you when it happens? Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, to me, it feels like you're dealing here strongly with these two squares, Thursday to Friday, with something good trying to happen, really, even though there's tension. So let's start off with the sun in your marriage house, your business partner's house, your audience, marketplace, and customers, 10th from the 10th, squaring Pluto in the 4th house, Scorpio. 4th house is your home. It's what you're doing in your home. It's who you're with in your home. It's your domicile, but it's also childhood and family of origin and childhood stuff. Now, from that deeper root, there is Pluto, which is the god of death. Something wants to regenerate, transform, revive, renew. Yeah, at the same time, squaring a solar figure. The sun rules your house of father. So a real family of origin father figure, like a grandparent or a parent, may be coming into a crisis of a life crisis, like a livingness. So you're one of the signs for whom this week would be an eldering or older or just a father figure may encounter a critical health crisis. They could lead to their announcements of their passing or difficulties with their vital force energy, Thursday through to Sunday. But if we go with the marriage part of it, there's a big light in your long-term committed love house, and it's squaring Pluto. Something wants to really change in the home. Something wants to transform itself. And it could be something as simple as maybe you're going to want to move your home, and there's tension around agreeing with a partner about should we move the home or stay where we live. You do have a stellium in the house of rentals right now that's very, very rare. And there may be some push and pull between you and another about wanting to move, but that would be because instead of buying something, maybe it would be to rent it. Now, Mercury also Thursday through Sunday squares Jupiter. So Jupiter is golden opportunities, prosperity, and wealth in a house of father figures. Jupiter is also activating golden opportunities in alignment with international travel, higher education, and winning in court matters. Mercury is squaring from the house of lawsuits with Mars, the god of lawsuits. Good news, maybe, regarding a lawsuit situation that you're dealing with. Or Mercury in the house of job and work and Jupiter in the house of like the headhunters and the human resource departments. You get word that you're in line, that you got a job, a position's coming your way. Contractual agreements are going to be sent in the mail. Look them over. Do you want to sign? Jupiter could also want you to move to another country under the sky, because Pluto likes moving to other countries in the 4th house, like big, gigantic moves. But if you do, it's because you're going to rent a home in another country. You're not going to probably buy one under this chart. Professional opportunities to move, even to a foreign place, can show up under the sky. And finally, Jupiter bringing opportunity rules your earnings house. And so again, earnings from international places, book publishing deals, or academic settings. It can also translate to signing a deal that increases your financial earnings and your financial gain in some chosen career path, right? So those are some thoughts I have about this weekend ahead. Let me know in the comments what does transpire for you. I'd love to hear. And I should also mention that a sibling 2 older or 4 younger than you could have some very lucky news. And some of this could also be unexpected information or news that you are going to be a grandparent. All right. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. This Thursday through to Monday Monday has a lot of intensity. Most important, the beginning of it, you feel, is that the sun in the sign of Taurus, Thursday through Sunday, squaring Pluto. Yeah, like it could be related to a sibling and nothing to do with you. Just be aware of that. So some difficult circumstances in the life of a sibling, maybe even their physical vitality and their health, maybe an opportunity that is really a power struggle rather than an opportunity, a power struggle connected to work, workmates, employers, colleagues. And it can be connected to some power struggle regarding your local environment. Like, the boss wants you to move to another city and you're like, no, I'm not doing that. There's a power struggle there, you see? If a sibling owes you money, then there's a power struggle here about getting the money back. Doesn't mean you won't get it back. And this is like the kinds of things that can happen here. The sun rules your house of courts. It's in a house of lawsuits. So court matters and lawsuits involving neighbors and siblings are really strongly indicated here. And there's intensity Thursday through Sunday around the resolution. Watch for health challenges in the life of a sibling, but also for you. Be careful for your own health under this like Thursday through to Sunday window of time. And health challenges particularly connected to your arms and your hands. All right, so be careful. Don't chop off a finger when you're sawing something. All right, seriously. The second story is Mercury. Mercury is going to be in a square to Jupiter as well, Thursday through Sunday. Mercury's in the house of your children, also the house of romantic love, entrepreneurship, creative projects, Jupiter in the house of death. Now, it could be some very difficult information or news coming through your chart regarding something going on in the life of a child. And in this chart, it would be a child and their domicile and where they live. But Jupiter wants to bring an opportunity for your child to find a better place to live. But somehow it's all very tense and it has to be dealt with, right? And Mercury is also the ruler as he's squaring Jupiter in the house of chunky money. He's in it. Well, first of all, he's in a house of lottery wins. I should mention that. So if you want to win money, play, know your limit, play within it. This could mean a chunk of money from winning a lottery Thursday through Sunday. But there's big things going on in a life of maybe a lover or a child and to do with property, land, and real estate or their family of origin, which is you. And so pay attention for that. And Mercury could bring an opportunity for some chunky money because of creative and artistic projects, coming like a big chunk of money, right? And because the sun is involved in this week's sky, it could be like you're getting a forward or an advance on a book publishing deal, or you're getting some kind of chunk of money connected to creative and entrepreneurial and artistic creations. Jupiter rules the family of origin. North Node is here for increase, family of origin and inheritances. But because Mercury's talking about it from the fifth house, another way to reveal the story is you can't believe how much money you just got for selling your house. Like you're like, what the hell just happened? They told me the market was down and we had a bidding war. So you may have some good news around money and gains of a property sale. Yes, because the fifth house is the gains of selling the fourth house. So that's exciting too. Or you want to list your property and the agent tells you it's worth way more than you thought. That's another situation Thursday through Sunday. Hey, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Can you hear those sirens? This week ahead, bar the Thursday conjunction to Venus and Uranus, which I've done a video on. Watch that video. It came out yesterday, Sunday. You are looking at a very angular sky here this week ahead when it comes to the Mercury story. So that's going to say it's going to really kind of grind the gears of change for you for sure. Let's start with Pluto Sun first. Pluto, god of transformation, death, rebirth, regeneration, crisis, and conflict at times, is in a money house, earnings and possessions, but it can also be your teeth and your face. And he is in a square to the light shining in the house of your children and in the house of your romantic and sexual love life and in the house of your art and creative projects. That's your fifth house. Now, the sun shining through here is not a big deal normally, but Pluto square makes it something intense. Well, it'll happen a few times, half dozen times at least over the next few years because of the sky, but it can be some intensity around money because, the sun rules money that doesn't you don't earn it. It's inheritances or chunks of unearned income or shared monies. So I've got a few thoughts. There's a financial crisis going on in the life of a child, and you feel like you need to step in. Okay, that's simple. But if it's not about a child and it's about your money, well, it could be there's some situation going on financially that requires you to really dig into what you under the surface of what your values are around money. Now, because the sun is in a fifth house where winning money is possible, it is. Okay. And it's ruled by Venus in the sixth house, which is a house of debts. You might feel like you are coming into a winning situation regarding money. The only way I can see it coming through is related to siblings, most particularly, versus winning a lottery ticket. Mercury. Oh, and when it comes to romance, this is not a sky to start a new relationship under, because you don't want to be involved in a square to Pluto at the onset of a new relationship. I would stay clear of beginning new dating situations this week ahead, and especially Thursday through Sunday. Okay, so what about Mercury in the fourth house? Well, the information use, contracts and agreements, Jupiter, business partners, buyers, if you're selling a home, Jupiter, long-term committed love partners, monogamous, long-term relationships. Well, it could be some news about money that's coming through in the life of a committed love partner, not you, their money, or some really interesting news about your committed love partner's career and information about that. The square is about taking action. Now, with that whole stellium in your fourth house, unless you're building a home or massively renovating your current home, there's a lot of pressure in the sky for either kicking someone out of the house, leaving the place you live, and moving away from the people with whom you live. You see, there's a lot going on here. If you were married and the marriage isn't going well, this would be about separation of assets. But it's like something like this sky, Mercury has like agreements, conversations, or contracts connected to property, home, and land. And I don't know, could be also rental properties into the sky as well, rental property opportunities. By the time Mars leaves this part of your sky, which won't happen until May 18th, a lot of you are trying to either build a home, change a home, kick someone out of the home, or move from home. You know, that's all underneath that umbrella. And Mercury seems to be connected to that this week. Jupiter will try to bring you a beautiful opportunity, like you're trying to sell the home, a buyer. That's amazing. Mercury is the ruler of your work house. There could be a change of home connected to a professional job opportunity coming through the sky Thursday to Sunday. And Mercury rules your house of foreign lands. Some of you might want to move your home. You can see in Sunday, the moon is even in the house of foreign lands. You might want to think about moving a home to a country that's foreign to where you currently live. Again, and some of this can be professional advancement as well. Those are some stories for you, Cappies. Tell me how this week goes in the comments and let me know if any of it applied as the weekend comes through. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. I'm losing my voice, guys. I've been talking too much because I'm recording the all signs. All right. It's a sky that tells me for Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign that you're probably going to see the possibility this week ahead. And I am one of you that, independent of the surprising last in a lifetime Venus conjunction to Uranus Wednesday, Thursday, watch Sunday's video that already dropped. We'll do that. It's already been done. I think with the sun shining brightly in the fourth house, this is where you live. There's a spotlight in the midnight hour. It makes sleep difficult, FYI. So, Taurus season for you every year, the third week of April, third week of May, you probably don't sleep as much as you'd like. But that said, there's a spotlight in your home. And this Thursday through Friday, there's a square to Pluto. And the good news, you are Pluto, right? You are the top dog. You are the mafia boss. You are the demagogue. You got all the power. All the power is yours. You're opposing a square energy of your Plutonian force of immense transpersonal willpower, and in all of that, you're pushing the fourth house sun. While the sun rules the house of a connected long-term love partner, like a spouse, and you're making a when push comes to shove, Thursday through Sunday, you're pushing and shoving your spouse, if you have one, around the home, or pushing around matters connected to the home and committed love. Those are examples, right? Or pushing matters connected to the home and contractual agreements and lease agreements and, property agreements of some kind. That's the best I can make of it. I really am like, kerfuddled here, but what else I can say? So it really connects to also maybe the light in the fourth house, like the solar light, when it connects to audience, marketplace, and clients, could mean that there's just too much going on in your home connected to how you service your audience, marketplace, and clients. And some transpersonal willpower is pushing back within you if you have that kind of setup in your life. You could be also having a massive disagreement in a spousal separation situation, which is common when the South Node transits the eighth house, about the settlement of the money and the assets and the resources and who gets what, furniture, dog, pets, etc. So that could be a crisis energy for you, but you carry more strength than you imagine as you deal with this story, Thursday through Friday. And Mercury, he's in your third house of writing and communicating, marketing, selling, teaching, and learning, skills-based gifts and talents. He's your neighbors and neighborhood and local city environment, everyday world. Okay, so Mercury in your third house is squaring on Thursday through to Sunday, squaring Jupiter. Now, the sixth house is your work house. It's your home office or your real office you go to. And you've got a square energy. Mercury might be trying to make an agreement, a contract situation connected to work, but he can also be having conversations with employees that are very challenging. He could also have a very big energy around wanting to make a contractual agreement or a deal, third house, connected to your work. Book publishing could be involved, writing can be involved. Jupiter's trying to bring you expansion and growth of employees, of work situations, of livelihood, work, and money stories. That's his job through to the end of June. Mercury has some information or news or situation that has to be discussed or agreed upon, or even an idea that you have that you want to execute. Teaching, writing, marketing, selling, right? I know all of that. And you're passionate about it, but you have to push against some situation that's bounteous, but at odds with another agenda in your work environment. If you want to get a pet, Jupiter's in the house of pets, Mercury would be the contractual deal to get the pet. And you might be going Thursday through Sunday with a pet opportunity that requires a yes or no with some degree of urgency. Jupiter could translate this square, which requires, again, conversations around a monetary situation. He rules your second house of earnings. And you might be getting an offer, an opportunity, or a deal connected to your third house activities, which includes social media. And the square might just be pressing you to take immediate action and decide quickly, as in fortune favors the bold, because this could also increase your career gains significantly if this contract or agreement is a yes. All right. It could include getting a pet because, pets soothe the soul and we can work harder. I think I need a pet. Do you guys? I need an animal. I'm autistic enough. I need some soothing foot licking going on in my neurological neurodivergent life where I have a hard time regulating. Let me touch my hair just to annoy you guys some more. For all those who hate when I touch my hair. Well, you try having big hair, but on top of that, you try being autistic. Now, let's talk about Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. You are last, but you're never least. Best and always best. My mystic poets of the zodiac, here's the story for you. Oh, my jewelry. My otter spirit in the description box below. It looks to me like the feeling you're going to have with the sun bearing down in your third house, squaring Pluto Thursday through Friday. You got something crunching, okay, to do with money you make from online social media, long distance people and places, or money connected to siblings. And there's a pressure cooker here for you to make some kind of shift or take some kind of action. Otherwise, you're having a power struggle with somebody in your neighborhood who's really a hidden enemy or a sibling that's got an entitlement complex Thursday through to Sunday. There may be some kind of real pressure and difficulty regarding travel plans, especially if it requires you to travel to a foreign country. And there might be a power struggle about coming up with a final solution regarding those travel plans. This could also involve some complex information or difficulties regarding travel and a long-term marriage-like partner. So you're going to be facing off with something here, pivotal. Could be the death of a travel plan, for example, Thursday through to Sunday. And it may involve a spousal situation as well. The sun is the ruler of your sixth house of work. Work obligations get in the way of travel, for example. Health challenges get in the way of travel, for example. Debts and debt situations blockade travel opportunities, for example. And you'll find that Thursday through to Sunday is quite evident. When we move away from that story to Mercury in your earnings house, he's got the abacus. He's taking note. He's counting your pennies. He's checking your balance in your books, hopefully. Mars is passionate, ambitious drive to make some money and be a self-starter, maybe spending a little bit more than you normally like. Saturn will help contain the spending if he can. That's the thing that's going on for you right now. But then Mercury ends up squaring Jupiter. Jupiter likes to bring opportunity. There's an opportunity involving entrepreneurship, creative and artistic projects, your children. Yeah, it's a square from Mercury and Mars and Saturn in a money house. It can be like information from a child that they need some financial support from you, like an adult child, and you're like facing off with how to respond. It could also be an opportunity for your own livelihood. Jupiter rules your 10th house, but involves a fifth house person. A fifth house person can be a sibling to younger. A fifth house person could be a child. Fifth house person can be somebody in the artistic and creative fields. Jupiter wants to bounty you up. I mean, he's in a house of good fortune. Technically, you could win money under this. But the way Mercury's coming from the second house, it's more like, what do you want to sell or buy? Connected to the fifth house. And I don't think you're going to sell or buy a child. So let's just say bounteous money and opportunities trying to emerge. Jupiter can translate it directly to you. He rules your sign and to your career path. But a golden opportunity of good fortune requires a response. Do you want to sign the contract? Are you going to say yes? Do you want to negotiate the fine print about what the money story looks like here? Again, it's likely to also involve a child if you have children. And if it's a life of an adult child and it's about money, then what's your participation in their money situation? Some news from a child about something connected to their career and their job, like they got fired from their job. Thursday to Sunday, that's a story I see here as well. And then, of course, then you're left trying to help them out financially, maybe. Or I hope that doesn't happen. For some Pisces, it may. And that's what I've got for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and don't miss a thing. My extended members version is not a lot, but I'm going to now go check my Divine Timing Masterclass out, see if you want to come aboard, check out the idea that you might be interested in coming aboard my Substack or Patreon. I write world astrology for free every weekend there and do also free all signs content. So check me out on all my other platforms. Now we're going to transition just to a short members only section where I want to talk about this pending Pluto Mars square. Okay. Astrology is a map, but it's not a map of place. It's a map of time. What I love about teaching astrology and having people use this time map is that it helps them navigate their life. You wouldn't get out of your house and go ahead and start traveling without a literal map or a GPS unit, especially if you don't know the terrain. Well, astrology is the map. It is the terrain of time. And in our course, the Divine Timing Masterclass, we're going to be learning about 5 very powerful precision tools in astrology to time your best life. But here is the thing. This is a course that takes ancient timing tools and Time Lord tools, and yes, helps you navigate reality with greater ease and flow and even luck because you know how to work with it. But it is not the only part that astrology offers you. It's not only a prediction map of time. Once you start going down the astrology rabbit hole, you, like me, begin to wonder about fate and free will, like who's in charge here? Because you're going to see the arc of destiny, and you're going to notice, if you use these timing tools, not only how to look forward, but how to look backwards. And one of the most surprising parts of this is that when we turn around and look backwards using astrology, we see pattern recognition and cycle repetition. And that is useful. Number one, it gives a sense of destiny and meaning to our lives, where we understand no choices we made were right or wrong. They weren't mistakes. The choices and actions we took were a part of a greater plan. The second thing I love about pattern recognition and cycle repetition, because it's pretty reliable, you can use it to time your best life, because you can say, okay, I've done this one before. I've been through this set of eclipses every 18 and a half years. I know how they operate in my chart. And well, it's never the exact same story in exactly the same way. The archetypes underneath the story are the same. Venus, Pluto archetypes, the love of power and the power of love, right? So like it's one energy playing out in different ways in our lives. And, I mean, we can get like a jealousy and a betrayal story with Pluto, but we can also get the depth of love, true love, transformative love, and regenerative love. So how these stories play out depends on how you receive them and how you choose to interact with them. So in my Divine Timing Masterclass, I've chosen 5 tools that I think I can teach intermediate to advanced beginner students. And I have taught this class before in 2022 and 2021, but not all of these tools. I taught 4 of these tools, I believe. So in our class, if you want to join me in the Divine Timing Masterclass for 5 consecutive weekends in the month of May on Saturdays, I'd love to have you there. There's a little checklist on my website that's going to ask you whether or not you think you're ready for this class, because you don't want to take this class if you've never before learned the meaning of the planets, the meanings of the houses, how to recognize the astrology glyphs. If you don't know the rudimentary language of astrology, this course will not be for you. This is for those advanced beginners and intermediate students. And by the way, if you want to learn the basics, come to my Sky Reader course. Every September we begin, and this year's course will be at least 7 weeks rather than a traditional 6, to allow for a slower learning curve for some of you who find the pace a little fast. But I am teaching you a new language. All right, when you start off as a beginner, and no one learns Italian or Greek overnight. My name is Lori Lothian, by the way, and I am Lunatic Astrology, and we are learning together. I'm going to show you the website that I put up that shows you the basic layout of the land of this course that's coming up. It's going to be modular. There are 5 weekends, there are 5 courses, there are weekly Q&As that are attached to each module, which I go into a coaching mode or in a help mode to help you if you're confused on the tool or to guide you further. So you're getting the class with me, which will go at least most times 90 minutes minimum to 2 hours sometimes. And then you're going to get the actual follow-up for that module in a midweek Q&A with a replay for all of it. And you get to keep the course forever. It's evergreen. Once you take it with me, it's yours. You don't, it's like, it's saved for you on my teaching platform, and you can go back and learn it anytime. So I want to just say the 5 tools are modular, because some of you may already know these tools and you're like, oh, I have to sign up for a 5-week course, but I already know 2 of the 5 tools really well, and I don't really think I need to learn it. I get that. So I decided to make it modular, but with an incentive for you to level it up and take that course, the whole package, because there's consistency of community. I have a Facebook group for you guys to meet in and chat. You can start your own WhatsApp groups if you want to really connect with each other. And there's also consistency of the content building on each other. But yes, you can do it in a standalone mode. So I'm just going to show you the website just to show you it's not the final version. The enrollment cart won't open to the public until later on, I think about April the 10th. And if you're on the early bird discount, that's a different story. That was a sign up option. Let's show you the actual picture of this website that I mocked up for, getting the basics down. So I'm on my Lunatic Astrology website. Divine Timing Masterclass. Enrollment doors open April, and the date is coming. And a 5-week deep dive into ancient predictive timing tools. So you're going to get a weekly live Q&A call with me that you can come to, and you're going to get a private Facebook group. And I may put a Discord group up there as well. I'm not good at running them, but I have a fellow colleague who will maybe do that for me. And all the content is available for replay. And we start May the 2nd. And so here's what I want to say. Remember the checklist I'm going to be giving you. I thought I wrote it in here, the FAQ, but it is like, if you don't know how to recognize a planetary glyph yet, you don't know the meanings of the 12 houses, you don't know rulerships, Venus rules, 2 signs, Libra and Taurus, and she's exalted in the sign of Pisces, then you're probably not ready for this class at all. And here are the actual module. So, planetary decades, and it's about your unique timing. It's a very cool tool. And I learned this years ago from Austin Kopek, and I use it in my own life just as a guidepost, but it's unique to your own natal chart and in the order of the planets in your chart in zodiacal order. So it's a really simple, but fun, but accurate timing tool for your life. The next one is Fidaria, which is a very powerful time map. It's a little bit like Fidaria, the Dasha system in India, where you have a Mahadasha and an Antardasha, meaning that Vedic astrology tool gives you certain years and windows of time, certain ages, and when there's one planetary power ruler over you. Like I just finished a long run through my moon Mahadasha, and now I'm in my Mars Mahadasha in the Vedic system. This is Fidaria. It's a similar idea. It's an ancient Hellenistic timing tool. It's extremely enlightening, and it depends on whether you're born in the day and the night. And then we have solar arc times. I call it God's clock. This is my favorite tool. I've been using it for years, and I can't wait to teach that to you because I've got some insider hacks from a lot of experience over 7 years and thousands of clients about the best way to use God's clock. And you also have zodiacal releasing, karmic turning points using a lot of eros, a lot of love, and a lot of fortune. And this is a very powerful Hellenistic tool, and it definitely works. I've taught a class on it already, but I'm putting my guest teacher expert, Kaylee Michelle, in here. She taught this as an extra advanced module in my last Sky Reader, and she was really loved, and she's really good at giving you worksheets to do this and really learn it. And so I am so happy to have her sharing her wisdom for the 3rd week's class, my guest teacher, Kaylee. And then distributions through the bounds. These are your life's chapters. They're extremely, very useful. I remember Kamala Harris was out of the running for the Democratic Party. She dropped out of the race to be nominated at the convention, and everyone was tossing her out the door. And I looked at her zodiacal releasing back in the first election with Joe Biden back then, not the second election, the Joe Biden one where she became vice president. And I said, oh my God, no, she's going to be okay. And no one understood why, because I'm like, she's going to go to power here. How could she go to power when she got knocked out of the race for the presidency and Joe Biden took over the lead? Well, she became his vice president pick. So this kind of thing works. I did it with I have a fellow astrologer who was having a reading for me back then when I was first learning this tool from Ben Dykes back in the pandemic era. And I said, you're going to write like lots of books in this window of time. Now she's written 3 or 4 astrology books, and it was all in using the distributions through the bounds tool, which I'll be teaching. And lastly, we have bonus courses for self-study. So this is if you are literally going to take the whole bundle and you want to be there for all classes, or just have them at your disposal for future reference. I love that I'm going to give you the annual advanced perfection tool video from a class I've already taught live, my solar return masterclass, and my natal progressed lunation course as well. Those are replays of 2-hour courses I've taught before with supporting documentation and slides. It's about a value of $99, $33 each. You get that because you want to sign up for the bundle. So I'm trying to incentivize people to sign up for all of the videos. All the information you're going to need in order to sign up for my class and to get enrolled for that class, and enrollment carts will open to the general public around the 9th of April. I'm using an auspicious election for that, for the early bird discount people who got on the wait list for that class, and there's a few hundred of you, I will be sending you the email. If you're listening to this video and you're not on the early bird discount wait list, then you can find the link to that wait list in this video underneath this video. Otherwise, if you're catching this later after the April 10th to 10th, then the information to enroll and the link to enroll is under this video. So I'm excited. To me, astrology is the tool that I use, like I breathe, you know what I mean? I shower, I brush my teeth because I live and breathe it. But it's also a way to connect to the divine wisdom that's operating through my life. Because I can say, oh, no wonder I hit a wall last week, Sun, Saturn conjunct in Aries, and I'm an Aries sun and I hit a wall. And I can understand that wall, this too shall pass, right? That wall has a lesson for me and then it's over. I can anticipate things. I can work with them and not resist them. And then I can extract the deeper lessons of what I am experiencing because it's happening for a reason. So astrology to me is like how to know the mind of God. And that's one of the reasons I think I call this a divine timing masterclass, because we're looking at understanding the will of the divine in each of our lives by looking at the map of time in each of our lives. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's something that you can groove with, and we'll be getting that course going. And I'm excited in May to be teaching that to you. I'm moving in May, but I'm also teaching a class. That is what happens when you're in Aries with a Saturn Aquarius rising story going on, Saturn on the ascendant. You buck through anything, even a move in May, and I'll be sharing this class with you guys. I'm looking forward to it, actually. So come aboard. If you're not sure you're ready for the class, remember the checklist will be there for you. I think it was on the page. I didn't show it to you. Then no worries. You can always reach out to me by email. All my contact information is under all of my YouTube videos and stuff, and ask me to be more specific with your circumstance. The biggest risk you have is taking a class in astrology that is over your head. Then you continue to study astrology over the years and it's no longer over your head. And then you can use that class, you can go back and learn it. And I've had that happen to me where I've signed up when I was learning astrology for a course that was too sophisticated for me. And then I went back later and I figured out, oh my God, now I understand what the teacher's teaching. So that's the worst case scenario is you jump on in and you're not quite ready. But hey, guys, you got to know the basics. So if you don't know the basics, it's not the class for you. I'll see you guys in the Divine Timing Masterclass in May 2026. I'm so looking forward to having you there and playing in the sandbox of divination together. Lunatic astrology.